Hello friends, and welcome to the next video. In this video we're talking about this single stroke roll with pure rebound. Okay, before we get started, once again I want to thank everybody for participating in this little series here. I'm really glad you're liking it, and I thank you for the super thanks. You know who you are, those who are checking in, and those who are joining the lesson site. I'm really happy that you're with us. And yes, this is a big part of the lesson site, your hand technique. So, yeah, let's just get started, okay? Of course, you know that I had the great chance, honor, privilege to study with Murray Spivak, Richard Wilson, and Freddie Gruber, you know, a little bit from each guy. And what I have now is like a conglomeration of information from those three guys. Of course, I also studied with Joe Percaro and you know, a bunch of guys. When it came to hand technique, I went to a lot of different people. Some people who screwed me up, actually. There was this one guy, I'm not going to mention any names, but he told me to put my thumb like this, okay, instead of like this. He told me to do this. That nearly wrecked me for weeks. I was in severe pain right here. So, you know, you really have to be careful what you're doing and always search for the most natural and relaxed way to play that is humanly possible, okay? That's what all the great hand masters will tell you. Okay, so the single stroke roll. The single stroke roll is an integral part of your study for hand technique because it's basically going to influence all the other strokes that you're going to do. Believe it or not, the single stroke roll is in a lot of other strokes that you're doing. Okay, so let's just get started. There are 4 basic exercises that I want you to do, okay? And let's just start with the very first one. It's triplets. I'm sure everybody knows this. Okay, triplets with accent on the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, with the rebound stroke, what you want to do is first isolate each hand, okay? Now you'll notice that I'm not doing this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? I'm not doing 3 moves, but it's all kind of one move, okay? Now, the accent comes from the torque of the whip motion the arm makes, okay? After the accent, you have a bounce back, rebound, and then on the way up is when you get your 3rd note. Okay? So you see, it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's all wristed, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Left hand, same thing. 1, 2, 3. As much as possible, you want to rebound everything. Don't do the 3 movements with the wrist, okay? Slow is the hardest of all, as always, okay? So after you get that down, you want to coordinate your moves so that you can play together. Always keeping in mind to have a nice flowing motion without wristing so much, okay? Now, inevitably, there's going to be some movement in there, in between, you know, like this, because sometimes the sticks will move the hands, right? I don't want you to think that you're absolutely not supposed to move at all, right? Like in the double stroke, for example. In the double stroke, it's very clear that you have 1 movement and 2 notes. But in this, because of the spacing of the notes, there is going to be a little play in there, okay? But as much as possible, try to do one movement. Okay, I, for example, really have to concentrate. This is something you do the rest of your life, by the way. It's not like you do it a couple of weeks and it's over. It's something you work on the rest of your life. It's like a tune-up, right, on your car. Now, the faster you go, the easier kind of it becomes. Also, what Murray said, for example, is not incredible, all this stick height, right? His thing was, oops. Now, what Murray said, for example, he didn't talk about all this stick height all the time. His thing was more down here, okay? So the higher you go, the more bounce back you're going to get on that accent if you push it down. But if you're down here, okay, there's less of that bounce back, and you don't want to slam that accent. The most important thing is the motion with the rebounds. So what you're doing is trying to get a constant release, 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 release. Okay? This is constant tension, wristed notes, finger technique, constant tension. Okay? Rebound, constant release. Okay? The muscles have a chance to breathe because you're using the rebound to create a space in between the signals that you send from your brain to your hand. This is constant signals. Move, 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 move. Wristed, okay? This is one big signal and relax. Okay? Okay, so it's important to realize this because it's going to help you conceptualize what this is useful for, okay? Now, as you get faster, the movements become smaller, right? Always as relaxed as possible. And bouncing as much as possible. Okay. I'm always concentrating on the bounce, on the rebound. All right. So the next exercise I want you to do is this accent pattern. Which is still 3 notes on each hand, but you're displacing the choreography to create another texture, okay? It's still 3 notes. Now, I would suggest doing the big choreography as well as the smaller one, okay? Because in my opinion, that is still very useful for the kit. When you want to flow on the kit, to understand these choreographies is very important. And of course, as you see, the faster you get, the less movement. Now I have to really concentrate to not have 3 moves in there and let the sticks bounce as much as possible. So if I talk, I get distracted and it gets corrupted. For those of you curious, I am practicing with this space closed and with this space open because they both have different functions, okay? On the kit, there's a function for both things. Henry Adler talked about playing with closed like this, as well as many other guys. So I've seen some cuckoo guys on the internet saying, oh, don't close this, don't close. Man, I just can't, okay, I just can't. Anyway, the second exercise. Accent, rebound, up. Accent, rebound, up still remains the same. Okay? You're just displacing the choreography. A little faster. Ah. I get it to the point where I start to feel uncomfortable and I slow down again. Anytime I feel tension, that's when I bring it back down. Okay, slow it down again. And that helps you to push your limits every time. Now, why don't I use a metronome when I'm doing this? Because it's not about being in perfect time at first, okay? It's about finding the flow in nature. Okay, finding the flow of the sticks, the weight of the stick, the effect the stroke has on the surface, and gravity. Of course, you're using gravity, okay? That's what you're studying. And another very important element that you're studying is downward pressure. How much downward pressure you have to put on the stick to get the speed to increase, okay? There is a definite amount of downward pressure I'm using to increase the speed. If you don't have downward pressure, this is what you have, okay? You can't increase the speed, okay? You have to increase the downward pressure, not the muscle, okay? You have to increase downward pressure. Again, the exercise, the example, is if you take a buzz roll, right? You see, I'm exerting downward pressure. You see how close the notes are together, all right? So this is all an extremely subtle and delicate balance of these 4 elements. The weight of the stick, the effect of the strokes on the surface, drum, pad, whatever, gravity, and downward pressure, okay? Oops. All right, so if you find yourself dropping your sticks a lot, that's actually not bad right now, okay? Because what happens is you're trying to gauge the minimum amount of force you can put on the sticks in your grip so they stay in your hand, okay? I'm always, when I'm practicing like this, I'm always trying to make it as relaxed as possible and finding the point where I'm not grabbing on. Where I'm really flowing with the energy that is here. That's one thing Freddie Gruber used to tell me. He says, there's an energy right here. There's this energy that is composed of these things that you have to like latch into with your phrasing, okay? You can see it at work. You do these. Now the third exercise that I want you to do is this one. It's again triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're accenting like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're accenting every other note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ta, 3, ta, 4. It's almost, if you're thinking in 4/4 like that, it's a half note triplet. 1, 2, ta, 3, ta, 4, ta, 1, 2, ta, 3. Okay? Except you want to rebound as much as possible. This hand is tapping the whole time, but with a rebound, making this in reality a double stroke roll, believe it or not. This is a double stroke roll. I'm just displacing the motion. I talked about this morphing in another video, but this is a double stroke, okay? Double stroke, and I morph it to singles. All right, so to prepare you for that, this is the exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's if you want to think that way in a 16th note triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next exercise I want you to do is, oh wait, let me just clarify something on that. I am, let's say, for lack of a better term, pushing this hand. I'm not doing push-pull, okay? That's something else. But I'm kind of valving. I'm valving the right hand, okay, to get that accent pattern. Just as I would this, okay, to get two notes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, accent, lift, accent, lift, accent, lift. That's like the double stroke roll. Okay, accent, lift, except you don't do the accent, it's a double stroke. Okay, so as you see, there's many little details, man. There's so many details. This is such a detailed study that it's really beautiful and something very special. The next exercise, we go to 16th notes, and this is the accent pattern. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, 2 E, 3 E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're extending to 4 notes on each hand. Okay? If I take this hand off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, you're extending to 4 notes on each hand, okay? Again, Slow is really hard. And I practice both ways with closing that gap there and opening. Now just a side note, when you play closed like this here, the index finger gets to wrap itself around the stick a little more, creating more of a, let's say, contact to be able to exert downward pressure, okay? So you just, like this, just close the gap, all right? So a little faster, slow. I would say practice the big choreography too. Really hard, slow. Because there's a tendency to want to control the perfection of it. And it's not about being perfect, it's about finding that flow of energy. Okay? Again, isolating each hand, very important. And what is that? That is paradiddle, okay? That's why it's important to study the single stroke roll. This is the motion for paradiddle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? The single stroke roll is amazing that way. It covers so many areas. All right, so a little faster. Notice it's real relaxed. Talking and this is hard. Open here. Now, what's really nice is to string these 4 exercises together, okay? So the first one, second one, third one, fourth, first. 2 measures each. Okay, so when you reach a certain speed, you're not going to be able to make that transition anymore because it just becomes physically impossible to go any faster. So you separate the exercises. So I'm just going to do the first 3, okay? A little faster each time. All right, and then the other one, you just do it separately. You'll notice that the flow is one move, one throw, okay? One throw, release, 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 release. That's the idea. If you do finger control the whole time, it's constant tension, all right? There's so much hype with finger control, which does help at a certain level, but you don't play like this. It's not something I work on all the time, because it's up to a certain point it can really help you. But you know, nobody, you know, unless you're using French grip and you want to do things like that, you know, that is very limited for the drum set. Now, again, there are things where that is very useful and that it aids control and that you can do things with, okay? But when you add that to your formula, it can be very, very beautiful. And you can do the same thing with traditional. I haven't talked about traditional yet, but just to show you. All right. So the single stroke roll, a beautiful, beautiful rudiment that is highly, probably in my estimation, a bit misunderstood, a bit looked at as a very superficial thing. You know, how fast can I go? Singles, oh my God, I can break the world record with singles. That is so far removed from music that I don't know, you know, why people waste time on that. I guess, you know, hobbyists as a hobby, you know. But I do find interesting the study and the way that the sticks react to musical phrases, okay? So yeah, that's the single stroke roll. Again, if you want to do hand consultations with me, $100 an hour, WhatsApp or Skype or whatever platform you want to use, Zoom. And also the lesson site is waiting for you, philmaturano.com. We have some new students from the United States and from Holland this month. I'm very happy you guys are with us. Only $200 gets you in the full year program. And of course, we have the elite program that is 3 hours a day for 7 days with a 2-year membership on the site, okay? And 3 hours, 7 days online, Skype or whatever platform you want to use for video interaction. You need a drum set somewhere I can see you play, and hand consultation is a big part of that, and styles and reading and everything, okay? So that's that. This is kind of a long video. The single stroke roll is so beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.